Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who are risking their lives and their freedom to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Akalia, and this video is about the uproars of the people, man, which are these protests that are happening worldwide. And it is a very common occurrence. And why is that? Because Bible prophecy is occurring. All right. In the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1, it says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So the end of the world is manifest, which is actually talking about the end of a period of time, right? The end of an age, which is talking about the end of the rulership, the era of the rulership of the so-called white man, who are the biblical Edomites, whose forefathers Esau. All right. So we're going to be seeing these signs as their kingdom approaches its end. And the scriptures very clearly states two things: earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. The earthquakes are such a common occurrence now that people hear about them, they blink, and they go about their day. No matter how devastating the earthquake is when it hits certain areas, as long as it doesn't affect them, they don't care, right? Because it happens so frequently, people have become immune to the news. But it very much so is a sign of the end. And actually, it's mentioned twice in the scriptures that earthquakes are a sign of the end. And then you have the uproars of the people in the world. Now, this is very pointed from Yahweh Shemishai to mention this. And so the uproars of the people in the world are these protests that are happening worldwide. And this has been going on very heavily in the past few years. I don't remember which year it was. Maybe either 2020, 2021, maybe 2022, when RT News deemed the year of protest, because so many protests have been going on around the world and they haven't stopped. They've been continuing. All right. So we're very much approaching the end of Esau's kingdom. And then, this morning, I'm checking the news and stuff. I looked at RT and I'm seeing this situation. Clashes erupt at anti-corruption protests in Philippines. Anger over mismanaged multi-billion-dollar flood control projects has sparked street unrest in Manila. Almost 50,000 people took to the streets of the Philippines capital Manila on Sunday to protest corruption. The rally was marred by scuffles between the demonstrators and the officers. Now, this is a large number of people, all right, that have gone out there in the streets. So the people are very clearly passionate about the situation at hand, and the people around the world been passionate. But then there's another thing to point out, that they're protesting against corruption, right? And corruption is something that is dominant in this world. And why is that? Because the people that are in rulership, who are these so-called white people, who are the biblical Edomites, they are the wicked. And this is their kingdom. As it says in the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the wicked are the Edomites, who are these so-called white people. And Esau is their forefather, and Esau was given a blessing from our forefather Isaac, that he would have the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, and by the sword he would rule. And this is what we're all suffering under right now. All right, the entire world is suffering under the rulership of the wicked, who are these so-called white people, the Edomites. Okay, so this is why They're protesting. The scriptures say in the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And who are the righteous? The Israelites. Are the Israelites ruling today? No, they're not. All right, look at the world. If the true Israelites were ruling today, then the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shemishai would be established in the world, point blank, period. Are they established in the world? No. Instead, when you observe the scriptures and the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shemishai, you observe the world and what is allowed in the world, what is pushed in the world, etc. You can very clearly see that it is the opposite to the law, statutes, and commandments, which is wickedness, right? And why is that? Because the people that are in rulership are the wicked, the so-called white man, the Edomites. All right. So it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear through, the people mourn. So the people are mourning and they're protesting over corruption and all kinds of different reasons because the wicked beareth rule, okay? Who is once again the so-called white man, the Edomite. So this is why this is happening. And then the sign as well of prophecy at hand, right? That there will be uproars of the people in the world. So it's going to be happening, and it is happening. We're living through it in real time. These are the final days of Esau's kingdom, and it's very clear to see, right? Going back to 2 Ezra chapter 9, it says to measure the time diligently. So you measure the time, you observe what is going on in the world, and then you relate it to Bible prophecy. And it is so clear. It is clear to see that Esau's kingdom is over. All right, so let's take a look because, after I seen this article, I just decided to type in protest to see what else is going on in the world. And of course, Bible prophecy is happening. So many other places are also experiencing protests around the world. Here it is, the Netherlands. Violence erupts at anti-immigration protest. That was September 20th, 2025. Right, today's date is what? The 21st. Okay, so yesterday. Protesters clashed with the police in The Hague at the rally demanding tougher migration policies. Dutch far-right leader Geert Wilders has condemned the unrest, calling the rioters idiots. Okay? So, whatever it is that they're protesting about, the Netherlands is a place that is, an Edomite dominant society, right? It is, an Edomite sovereign society. And then one thing that you'll actually realize a lot of the times is that the protests that are happening are oftentimes in Edomite dominant societies, but the rest of the heathen are protesting as well, okay? But it's very telling when the people that are in rulership, right, in their kingdom are going out there and are upset and mad and protesting, regarding that. When Esau, the Edomites, the so-called white people are protesting, it's because, they can see their kingdom, something in their spirit, man. And this is something that has been showing from Edomites on social media, that they can feel it. They can feel that something is changing. They can feel that, like, their privilege and their power is being taken away. And that's because the kingdom right now is being translated from one people to another. Esau's kingdom is ending. The scriptures say, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And also the curses are starting to fall upon them. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. Okay, so Esau, they're really feeling it, and then they're mad because things aren't how things used to be. Okay, the scripture says it, man. As I said, transition of power. Ecclesiasticus 10 and verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, which is exactly how Esau has run his kingdom. Okay, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, which it was always meant to be translated from, the heathen to the Israelites, right? And in this, the way the Lord has set it up, it would be that the wicked would be in rulership right before the righteous is in rulership, right? And the wicked being Esau, the Edomites, the so-called white men, and the righteous being the Israelites, the Lord's holy chosen people, right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and any of you that look like heathen, but are actually Israelites by way of your forefathers' seeds, who are Israelite men, all right? So they've dealt very wickedly with the world. I mean, they're the wicked, right? They're programmed to be this type of way, okay? So they have been this type of way. They have shown their character. They have done whatever. And so, you know, the Lord is saying, well, because you've done all of these things, well, guess what? The kingdom is translated to one people from another. All right. So our kingdom is coming, man. Okay. So there it is, the Netherlands. Then here you have it in Tel Aviv, right? Fresh. Tel Aviv protests press Netanyahu on hostage deal. 7 hours ago, thousands of Israelis took to the streets again on Saturday, calling for a hostage deal and an end to the Gaza war. Okay, so the question you should be asking yourself is, why is it that the supposed, as they claim themselves to be the Lord's holy chosen people, are protesting when they're supposed to be in the kingdom of heaven, right? Because the same Netanyahu person, often when he makes his speeches, he draws from the Bible, he pulls from the Bible, right? So then the Bible states that the children of Israel would be in the kingdom and will be living in peace, etc. You know what I'm saying? Revelation chapter 21, right? Why are they out there protesting? Why are they still subject to death? Why are they still subject to sorrow when they're supposedly the Lord's holy chosen people and they are back in the land? So, you know, supposedly all these kinds of things. It's because it's obvious they're not the Lord's holy chosen people. All right. But anyway, they're protesting in Israel. All right. Another sign of the end regarding the upwards of the people around the world. Then you have the situation in Angola. The hungry can't stay silent behind deadly protests in oil-rich Angola. So there have been protests in Angola due to, you know, whatever reason. Let's see. All right. So they're just suffering and they're protesting. The protests emerged spontaneously in some of Luanda's more populous and poorer neighborhoods, where some residents lack access to basic sanitation as well as other essential infrastructure. All right. So they protesting over there. And then here as well, which one is this? France. France been protesting. It's almost like every single weekend they're protesting in France, you know? Strike action across France as hundreds of thousands join protests. Yeah, France really has been protesting for a hot minute now, regularly. And it is an Edomite sovereign nation. Hundreds of thousands of people have marched in street demonstrations across France as trade unions held a day of strike action to pressure the new Prime Minister, Sébastien Lecornu, to rethink budget cuts. Okay, cool. So they're just protesting for whatever. All right, so the people are out there protesting. I brought out the scriptures regarding as to why. And that's just what it is, man. We're clearly at the end of Esau's kingdom, and it is clear that the wicked are the wicked are in rulership. And that's why we're seeing so many protests. There won't be any protests when the righteous are in rulership. Everything is going to be set in order. All right. Starting with the establishment of the law, statutes and commandments of Yahweh Shemishai. Right. So everything's going to be good and great and fine when the Israelites, when we are, you know, in rulership in our rightful place. Okay, so with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai by Shema Kodesh. Shalom.